Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com. And here, by popular demand, is a review of the ICA Leopold Stokowski Great Recordings from the BBC Legends Archive. 6 CDs worth of stuff. Now, most of this, all of this was previously issued. Number one, it's all been gathered together in this little box. And second of all, most of it was also recorded commercially by Stokowski. So the question is, which performances are better live, or whatever this was, yeah, these are mostly live, than they were on studio recordings? And it's not as simple a question as you might think. So let's see what we get, and we shall take it from there. Okay. First, we have Mahler's Second Symphony. Let's see, with Ray Woodland, Janet Baker, the BBC Chorus, the London Symphony Orchestra, and all kinds of other people singing and screaming and shrieking in the finale. Now, Stokowski's recording of the Mahler 2 on RCA was weird. He made it, 1972 or so, and this was recorded, and most of these are unfortunately like Royal Albert Hall or Royal Festival Hall recordings, so they're somewhat cavernous. This is 1963. And it was the first performance of Mahler 2 at the BBC Proms. It is infinitely superior to his studio recording, which does a lot of monkeying around with the orchestral texture, the percussion parts, and the sound, and all kinds of strange things happen. This is a relatively normal performance for Stokowski. He plays it come scritto, or como scritto, whatever, as written, more or less. There are some mistakes after the cry of despair in the scherzo, for example. The timpanist gets whoppingly lost and comes smashing in out of nowhere. Things like that, a couple of things like that. There's slips here or there, but basically, it's a wonderful performance. It really has that sense of occasion that Mahler 2 has to have. The climaxes are just volcanic. It's huge. It's powerful. It's so different from the kind of sanitized, tidy, workaday Mahler 2 that we usually get on recordings and in live performances these days. They sound like it really matters. So that's great, and it's exciting. And it's coupled here with a very good Vaughan Williams Symphony No. 8, especially the finale with the gongs and all the percussion and the harps. And it's so funny to compare this to the Stokowski's, to the finale, particularly to the relative austerity of, Adrian Bolt or even Andre Previn and those people. It's just an orgy of sound. The finale of this thing is. It's glorious and wonderful to listen to. When was that from? Let's see. It was recorded. Well, this is interesting. It says Shostakovich, September 1964. I assume they mean Vaughan Williams, not Shostakovich, or there was a different coupling, but it's a mistake. There's so many of those. Do you really expect them to get it accurately? No. Why should we? Let me get these other things out. There are no notes or anything here, which would have been nice talking about the actual circumstances of these performances. All right, Symphonie Fantastique and the Poème d'Extase by Scriabin. These are with the New Philharmonia and Leopold Stokowski in conversation with Derek Cook. Well, that's fun. But these were recorded in 1968 in the Royal Festival Hall. Now, Stokowski made studio recordings of all of these things multiple times. The Symphonie Fantastique he did on Phase 4. That's the one to have. It's much better than this. And, of course, you do get the tam-tam crescendo at the end, which is always fun. And the Scriabin, too. He always did these things wonderfully, but the Scriabin you can get on Everest, or you can get it on Phase 4, or wherever else he had it, and it was one of his hallmark pieces, but there's no decent reason to prefer these live recordings. They don't have anything special going on. Then we have Beethoven's Seventh, which is awful. The scherzo is 4 minutes and 43 seconds with no repeats. Oh my God, the finale 6 minutes. All the repeats are gone. It's not, his Beethoven was always, it depends, except for the Stereo Eroica, which is marvelous, and the Phase 4 Ninth, which is just so bizarre, it's kind of miraculous. But and I didn't put a tie on for that, because when you reorchestrate as much of it as Stokowski did, it's no longer Beethoven's Ninth, is it? Anyway, Benjamin Britten, The Young Person's Guide to the Orchestra. This is noteworthy for taking a very slow tempo in the final fugue, which allows for great contrapuntal clarity and also a xylophone glissando that I never knew was there. So that's kind of fun. And then you've got Falla el Amor Brujo, which he recorded on Sony with the Philadelphia Orchestra, actually. He always used his own edition of this, which has some striking rescorings, especially in the Dance of Terror, or whatever it's called. What is it? It's, yes, the Danza del Terror, with some extra descending lines. Actually, it's a descending woodwind line here. You know, that sort of thing. It's strings in the Philadelphia recording, but what the hell, who's counting or whatever. It's a fun performance. It always was. But again, studio is better. So this one has Klemper's Merry Waltz, CD5 here. Oh, come on, CD5. Yeah. Klemper's Merry Waltz. Klemper, Otto Klemper. Yeah, and as the composer, it's only 3 minutes and a bit. And the Vaughan Williams Tallis Fantasia, it's 17 minutes. Oh my, it's hypnotic. Very hypnotic. There is also a very good studio recording of that, but it's a little hard to find. Anything he does, it's all strings. It's just beyond juicy. And then we've got the Ravel Symphony Espagnole. Oh, Symphony Rhapsody Espagnole, pardon me. That's fun. Oh, it's lots of fun. It's the concluding Feria, whatever it's called. It's like, yeah, the Feria is really, really brilliant and noisy. And Brahms 4. Now, this was also a wonderful studio recording in the RCA box, and the studio recording is just better sound. I mean, it's exactly the same performance with the new Philharmonia, and then Ottokar Novacek's Perpetuum Mobile with the London Symphony, a little Stokowski, you know, bon, which he's done before. Then we've got, let's see, Ravel, the fanfare from the L'Eventail de Jean, Jean's fan, also on Phase 4, where you can hear it better. The Symphony in D minor, it's the same version as the Phase 4, where you hear it better. And Alexander Nevsky, which was sort of a new thing here for Stokowski. This is all with the Netherlands Radio Philharmonic. I mean, you want to hear a great Nevsky, you want to hear a sonic blockbuster, which this is not. It's not a bad performance, but it's also not really special in any particularly noteworthy way. And so that's it. Those are your 6 discs. And, the fact is with Stokowski, he made so many recordings, and he made sure his recordings sounded really good. The fact is, for Mahler 2 and Vaughan Williams Eighth, I mean, if that were separate, I would go for it. But, I left one out here. There's a Shostakovich 5 here. Pardon me. I see what they did. I went through this, when I was listening to this, I went through all of these things by these things. These are all wrong. And how they coupled it. So the Mahler 2 is on one disc here, 78 minutes long. And then the second disc has Shostakovich 5 and Vaughan Williams 8. Okay. So the Shostakovich 5, which I didn't talk about because I didn't see it there, but I did listen to it. I knew there was something missing. Oh my goodness, this is so irritating. So, I mean, all the works are here, but these first 2 discs are spread out strangely. And that's why Shostakovich had a timing on the back of disc 1 or disc 2, but but it's not, never mind. They just did it cheaply. Let's put it that way. The whole thing was just done cheaply. And because it was cheaply, it was done inaccurately. So the Vaughan Williams Eighth is coupled with the Shostakovich 5. The Shostakovich 5 is also a splendid performance in a bizarre kind of way, especially in the finale, which is as fast as like Bernstein did it, and as fast as like Bernstein did it at the end. Like that. Then it slows down. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, with a normal, I think tam-tam crescendo there, I think he always does. Okay, so that's the end of the Shostakovich 5th. It is bizarre, really bizarre, but boy, do they play. Do they play. It's an exciting Stoki performance. So for the first 2 discs, where you get Mahler 2, Shostakovich 5, Vaughan Williams 8th, this is worth hearing. and the Rhapsody Espanol and a couple other things. I mean, it's not that the rest of it's bad. It's that you can get it better if you have the studio recordings. And that's the point. If you have all of those Stokowski boxes, the Sony box, the RCA box, the Decca Phase 4s, then you have almost everything that's in here in almost uniformly better performances, with the exceptions noted. And so there you have it. I mean, if you want to get this, it's up to you. You're not going to get bad. You will get grotty sound, and there are more fun things in Stokowski's discography elsewhere. I also want to point out, I have a huge pile of historical Stokowski and all those things in the boxes individually. Some of them I had in the overflow room, and the rest of it I had in my overflow room, which there is one, by the way. There is an overflow to the overflow room. And so I may just do that separately, along with a bunch of conductor things, a series of just various conductors, because I've got all the old issues of like the Munch editions and the Zell editions and the Ormandy RCA stuff and the Stokowski stuff. It may be fun to go through those one at a time. And give them a little bit more play than they've gotten hitherto. But anyway, that's it. Your ICA Stokowski box. 2 really good discs and 4 kind of unnecessary ones. That's what it boils down to. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.